Hi, everyone. My name is John Cottrell, and this is Soft Flow. This is a 60-minute gentle yoga practice, and welcome to this practice. So for this session, just want to give you kind of a heads up of where we're going to be going with our practice today. Usually we start in seated so we can get prepared for our practice together, and we get into breath, a little mindfulness and meditation, and then we'll get into some movement. And so we're going to be focusing on some standing postures and some sitting postures. So pretty much the second half of our practice, we will be coming back down to a comfortable seat. And so to have something comfortable to sit on is always nice. So if you have some props, that'd be great to have. So maybe a soft blanket or even a pillow that you want to sit on, go ahead and grab that. And we like to use a couple of yoga blocks if you happen to have some yoga blocks or books or soft pillows, something like that. And then if you'd like, really just as an option, when we get to Shavasana, if you'd like to have something like a pillow or a cushion, this is just a yoga bolster, feel free to use that for your Shavasana practice, just to bring a little bit more comfort to your body. So this is just a practice of standing and sitting. And I think part of the sitting practice, when we get to that part of our practice together, the word that kept coming to mind for me was just grounding. So feeling grounded after, being on our feet and on the go, that really keeps us in motion, which is very yan, or, when we think about yin and yang. So yang or yan is very energetic. There's movement, power, and energy. And so we want to also honor the yin part, feminine, softness, stillness, earthbound, connection. And so we'll be doing some work just sitting on the floor. So to begin our practice, so find a comfortable seat, and you're welcome to cross your legs if that feels okay. I like to sit in half lotus. That feels good for me. Maybe an easy pose, or if you need to extend your legs, that's perfect. If you need to sit up against a wall or sit in a chair for this first portion of the practice, please feel free to do so. So I invite you to sit up nice and tall. You might close your eyes or just soften your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, very audible breaths, meaningful breaths. Maybe 2 or 3, just to reacquaint yourself with your own breathing. Bring awareness to the breath as it moves through your body. And then just settle into a slow, steady breath. Still very mindful of your breathing effort. And just breathing in a way where you can feel your breath. As you breathe in, you just might feel the breath rising upward, maybe filling up your lungs. And a slow, controlled exhale, and just feel that release. So again, you want to feel the breath as it moves through you. And also breathe in a way where you can hear your breath. Listen to the sound of your own breath. This is just our breathing meditation. So fully aware of the moment, being present, connected. This may also be an opportunity for you to set a personal intention for your practice. And as stated, we'll be doing some movement, some standing postures, just feeling the energy in our bodies, but complementing that sensation by coming to the ground, feeling grounded, sitting in stillness, holding some postures. Nice. Go ahead and take 3 more slow breaths in and out. Still very aware of the feeling of the breath as it moves through you and the sound of your breath. Let's start our moving meditation. So a very simple movement. Whenever you're ready, just inhale and extend your arms out across the room. Reach, nice extension. Just float your arms all the way up like you're going to touch the ceiling. Then as you exhale, extend your arms out with some effort, reaching, and let them float back down by your side. So again, you're going to inhale and reach out, reach up, and also still feel your breath rising upward to fill up your lungs. As you exhale, extend your arms out and back down. Then just continue to breathe and move on your own. And as you're doing so, I'll provide a few more instructions. So just this nice steady flow of breath, the movement of the body, that nice arm extension. Again, an effort of reaching, extending as if you're going to touch the walls on either side of you, reaching for the ceiling when you're reaching up into the air. As you're breathing in, you're still feeling the breath rising upward to fill up your lungs, fingertips reaching for the sky. Let's add a new sensation of the exhale here as you bring the arms down. Also, draw your navel inward towards your spine. So just keep moving. So when you exhale, you just feel that drawing your navel inward slightly towards your spine so you feel that contraction. It's a light contraction. You don't have to make that too powerful or too strong. So just that awareness. Just bringing that connection to our center bodies. And just notice the sensation in your arms, your shoulders, maybe that lengthening through the sides of your body as you're moving in slow motion, being guided by your breath. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on right now and take 2 more breaths. There's no rush to finish. When you do finish that movement, just return to stillness, sitting comfortably, noticing your breath. Well, still seated, just go ahead and bring your hands behind you, either on your fingertips if you happen to be sitting up on something, or maybe you're able to lean back all the way onto your palms. Either way is correct. So your arms coming behind you, and as you bring your arms back, feel the shoulders also draw back. That does take a little effort to do so. And you'll kind of lean back a little bit, and then you'll tip your chin up just slightly here. So we're creating a mild seated back bend. We'll take a nice full breath in and just feel that lengthening of the spine, sitting up a little taller, heart rising, chest opening and expanding as you breathe in. Then exhale, holding the posture, but draw navel inward towards your spine. We're still connecting with that abdominal lock. We'll hold here for a few more breaths. So we're just bringing a little bit more energy to the body. Your hands or fingertips pressing into the ground. Your arms are straight and strong, pretty energized here too, with your shoulders drawn back, heart opening, chest expanding. You might even feel a squeezing of the shoulder blades together behind you, engaging the upper back muscles, as well as your navel pulling in towards spine to engage your center. Go ahead and take one more breath in and out. And to come out of the pose, start by just lowering your chin, looking forward. Walk your hands forward and just let them relax again in your lap. And just feel that energy change from having your arms behind you and fully engaged, and now here, relaxed. And that too can kind of take on that yin and yang quality. That the yang or yan sensation of really bringing energy to the body as we did our seated back bend, and that yin quality of stillness and ease. All right, let's continue with the forward fold. If your legs are crossed, go ahead and uncross your legs and then reposition them so your feet, the soles of your feet are touching. Knees will remain bent, and it's okay if the knees don't touch the ground, and they really don't need to touch the ground, but you may want to take some objects like blocks or pillows and tuck them underneath the knees or legs so they rest. Have them rest on an object. That'll just bring more relaxation to the legs. And then just hold on to your ankles or shins and inhale just to sit up a little taller. Nice lengthened spine. Exhale, pull belly in gently and start to hinge forward a little bit, leading with your heart and chin, just going forward. And if you can see me, I really didn't move very far at all. And that's how we want to move into these poses. Take your time. Inhale to feel the lengthening of the spine right where you are. Exhale, gently pull belly in, hinge forward a little bit more. So these incremental movements, very easy, slow. So we're taking our time, not forcing or pushing our bodies into any pose. That way we can maintain this sense of relaxation and ease throughout the entire practice. Even though we will be engaging our bodies in some postures, we want to be able to have this sense of calm throughout our practice. If you notice that your head lowered or your back rounded, that's perfect also for this pose. It just adds new sensations perhaps to your body. So be aware of what's happened as you're folding a little deeper, back carefully rounding. Not only are you getting an inner thigh stretch and release, but you might be getting some flexion or stretch through your back body as well. Let's take 3 more breaths. No rush to move, but when you're complete, if your back did round, just lift your head and look forward out in front of you. That'll start the re-extension of your spine. As you hinge your way back up, you might even use your hands on the mat and just press and slowly rise until you can re-extend the spine in this seated posture. And we'll hold for a second or two. If you're using some props for the legs, let's go ahead and set those to the side. We're going to swing the legs around behind us and come to our hands and knees. And here, if you happen to be using a blanket for sitting, you may also use it for this kneeling part. So just adding a little softness or a little cushioning for your wrists, your hands, your knees, and just coming to this tabletop posture. It's going to move into cow pose and cat pose. We'll inhale into cow, so you'll look up or look forward, creating a little back bend, a little arch in the back. Your belly will drop, pelvis will tip back. As you exhale, we'll round it all out. So round your spine, chin tucks in towards chest, pull belly button up towards spine. And then just flow through these 2 postures. Inhale to cow, arching the back. It's a minor back bend. Exhale, round it out into cat pose. If you're able, be mindful of the rocking sensation of your pelvis. In cow, we make the back bend, the pelvis tips back. Exhale, tuck it underneath, feeling like your tailbone is going to point downward towards the floor. Feel the undulation of your spine, the gentle movement of your head since you're looking up and looking down. So it's a complete motion for the spine, which is really nice. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on. Take 2 more. After the second breath, you're welcome to rest. You can get off of your hands if that's too much pressure for the wrists, or just start a new round of breathing and just add some new motions to the body. I'll just give some suggestions, but you can move any way you want. So right now I'm just making circles with my hips. I'm just kind of sitting back, out to the side and around, going counterclockwise and then clockwise, and even settling into a space where you might feel a nice stretch or release in the tight body. I typically have tight hips, and so I like to push my hips out to the side very gently there, just to help release some tightness or tension there. So that's one thing you can do, just these circles. Again, if the hands are getting a little pressured by being on the wrist, you might even just come down to your elbows, something like this, and still add motion. You might even sit all the way back into child's pose if we need a little rest, especially for the wrists. And even do some leg extensions. Get creative and just stay on your hands and knees. Maybe just extend one leg back and then the other. So, again, being creative and really listen to your body and follow your body rather than thinking about what you need or want to do. Just follow the body, feel what it needs. I'm going to do a thread the needle for a little rotation in the spine. And still be mindful of your breath. That's still giving you the power to move. Even if you're sitting in stillness, maybe you found a pose where you just want to find a little relaxation, or you're just holding the body in a stretched posture. Hold there, but still notice your breath. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths to finish up. And then just make your way back to hands and knees. Pause there for a moment. Return to the awareness of the flow of your own breath. If you are using some padding for the hands and knees, let's crawl off that pad and just set it to the side so our yoga mat is clear. We'll return to our hands and knees and we'll get ready for our next pose. So from here, you're going to step your hands forward. And as you step your hands forward, spread out your fingers pretty wide so you create a good base. So step the hands forward. So now your wrists are no longer directly underneath your shoulders. They're out in front of you here. Nice wide base with the stretched out fingers. And then lean into your hands or palms so it flattens your palms to open up the hands so it stretches the hands. And then with that pressure, also feel energy in your arms. We're kind of going back to that Yan or Yang experience in the body. Tuck your toes. You're going to inhale to cow, look forward, a little arch of the back, exhale into cat. Hold cat pose, pulling belly button up towards spine. And from here, lifting your knees off the ground and then lift your hips up into the air. And this will guide us into our downward facing dog. We'll hold here for just a second, maybe just a breath, and then look at the space between your hands and start walking forward. Now, you don't have to go all the way up to the top of the mat, just to a place where you can get your feet underneath you and flat on the ground. And so you'll be in a forward fold, and that's a deep forward fold. We'll move out of that immediately. You'll inhale, slide your hands up to your knees or thighs so you rise up halfway. We're going to hold here on the exhale. So stay here in half forward fold, and that is the name of the posture. Sometimes we call it monkey pose. Half forward fold. So we have a nicely extended spine. There's still some energy in the body. Okay. An extended torso, core engaged, even some engagement in your hamstrings. From here, we'll lean back into the heels, bend your knees, and let your hips drop down like you're sitting down into a low chair. Look forward. This may allow you to free up your arms, take them out to the side. So spread your wings, and we'll stand up tall. Big stretch here at the top. Even hold there if that feels good. Reach a little higher, an extended mountain pose. Breathing in, and then your exhale, you just bring your arms down by your side. So that is energy in the body as we made our way up to the standing position. And here, go ahead and loosen things up again. Now we're standing, shake out the legs a little bit, get into the feet, your toes, your ankles, knees and hips, and even your shoulders, elbows and wrists. Just maybe shaking out any excess energy or tension. And then come back to your mountain pose. Very typical standard standing posture. Very simply together, we're just going to inhale, reach the arms up into the air. Exhale, bring the arms back down. So a very simple flow. We did this seated. Now we're just doing it standing. Do it 2 more times. Inhale whenever you're ready at your own pace. Reaching into the sky. Extending high. Exhale, reaching out across the room. Arms come back down by your side. And just do that 1 more time. Good. And just hold here with your arms down, maybe just palms facing your thighs, just a very relaxed mountain pose. Let's do our half salute. We're just going to inhale, reach into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, and feel like you're sitting back into an imaginary chair. Fold slowly and gently. Maybe you'll touch your toes, but you don't have to touch your toes. Maybe your hands land right at your shins, maybe right up at the ankles. And then inhale, slide your hands up the legs to your knees or thighs, re-extending spine to our half forward fold. And then exhale, fold again to a comfortable fold that feels right for your body, whether it's for your back or your legs, maybe touching the ground. And if you want to touch the ground, all you really need to do is just bend your knees a whole lot more. It's okay to bend your knees enough to touch the ground. Feel free to shake out your shoulders, even shake your head. Might shake it yes and no. Let's do one more spinal extension. So inhale, slide your hands back up to your knees or thighs. Hold here as you exhale, our half forward fold. Another re-energized body, back, torso, thighs, core. Shifting weight back into your heels, bend your knees, look forward, arms out to the side as you inhale, stand up, reach up, big stretch, exhale, arms down by your side, back to our mountain posture. Hold here for a moment. Feel free to shake any excess energy out. All right, let's get into our sun salute. We'll break down that sun salutation sequence. Do your best. We'll inhale, extend the arms into the air. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into your imaginary chair, and just carefully fold, making your way down towards the ground. We'll inhale, rise up halfway, lengthening through the spine. On this exhale, fold enough, bend the knees a whole lot if you need to, so you can bring your palms down to the ground. Walk both feet back. Take your time, making your way to plank pose or a high push-up position. Another strong, energetic posture. I like to hold this for strength building. Breathe in. As we exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air. This is our return to downward facing dog. Now, the first time we didn't hold it very long. Let's hold it a little bit longer as you're able. At any time, you can always rest. If you need to bring your knees down to the ground or rest your hands or your shoulders, please do so. You can just hold your body in stillness or add some motion here if you like, pressing one heel down towards the ground as the other heel lifts. Feel that stretch quality in your calf muscles when your heels press down. And as the heels lift, you might feel this in the soles of your feet or your toes. Allow for your knees to bend as much as they need to as you create this walking sensation. Your hips might even shift side to side. And again, rest anytime you need to. Let's hold our down dog. Then we're going to inhale and lift the right leg and extend it back behind you. Don't worry about how high it goes. Just reach nice and long and straight. As you exhale, bend your right knee, bring it in underneath you towards your chin or chest, shifting your upper body forward so your shoulders feel stacked over your wrists. And then set your right foot down. Doesn't matter where, just set it down on the ground. And then set your left knee onto the ground. That way we can actually pick up the right foot and just step it up a little higher up on the mat, closer to the right hand, getting ready for our lunges. We're going to do a series of lunges. So we're going to lift that left knee back up off the ground. We need to find some balance here because we have a lot of weight forward, or at least I do. So we need to pull the hips back towards the left heel. And that left heel is also trying to root down into the ground. So there's a sense of balance and stability. And see if that brings lightness to your hands so you can rise up to your fingertips and look forward, extending the spine. Hold that for a second. Just notice all these new changes and variations that are happening in the body. Now walk one hand, then two hands up to your thigh and press into the thigh to lift your upper body until we're at this 45-degree angle. A nice straight spine if you're able here. Meanwhile, that left heel is still pressing down towards the ground to feel a nice anchor. Feel the inner legs or your inner thighs squeeze in towards each other to bring energy into the legs, and pull belly button in. Now we're going to sweep the arms out and up into the air. And now we're in a high lunge, which is a balancing posture. So don't worry if you feel like you're wavering a little bit side to side, or you accidentally step out of the pose. That's okay, because this does take some balance. To help that balance, keep pressing that left heel back, squeeze inner thighs towards each other, and pull belly button in. Let's move out of this pose. We're going to inhale, lift up a little bit so you can easily pivot or turn left heel to the ground. Turn sideways and then bring your arms down to parallel. We're going to hold here in Warrior Two for a moment. Now the arms they're working hard. They were reaching up into the air. Now they're reaching out to the side. If they need to rest, just bring them down. Okay, we're going to move into our next pose. First, we're just going to bend the right arm at 90 degrees, right here. And then with this bent right arm, reach out, like you're going to put your arm like on a shelf right here. So just reach out. And then rotate the body and bring this right arm perhaps onto the shelf that's your right thigh. And then reach left hand up into the air. And a nice opening up through the left side of your body. So this is a variation of side angle pose, so another strong standing posture. If it feels okay with your head and neck, turn your gaze upward past your left hand. If that's too much, just continue to look forward or even down at the ground. Or you can do all of those things just to get some movement through the neck. Up, neutral, and down. Now from here, we're going to come back up to our Warrior Two. Re-extend the arms. Let's go ahead and relax the arms. Do a little shoulder roll here. And as you're doing that shoulder roll, let's get set up for our next pose. Okay, triangle pose. Go extend or straighten the right leg. Now you're welcome to shorten the stance a little bit, which I'm going to do. A little more shoulder roll there. And then when you're ready, go ahead and re-extend the arms out. So we've created straight lines in the body, long, tall torso and spine, straight arms, straight legs. And then start reaching with the right hand, same thing, reaching out for that shelf out in front of you. And then rotate the body again. So right hand down, maybe to your right knee or thigh, as the left hand extends up into the air. And maybe some awareness of this nice hamstring stretch. Go ahead and turn the head up towards the sky. Neutral, and down. Okay, so just that movement through the neck, gently looking up, forward, and down. Continue looking down. To come out of the pose, we're going to bend the right knee, creating a nice lunge. Come back up through a Warrior Two. We're going to return or move into reversed warrior pose. Taking the right hand up into the air, and this you might even take your gaze upward as well. Now we're just getting a stretch to the right side of the body. Return to your Warrior Two. All right, we're going to re-extend that right leg again. We've got another posture to do. We're going to do a forward fold. But first, turn your right foot so all 5 of those toes match the left foot, all 10 toes pointing in the same direction. Now, if your feet happen to be staggered, like mine are, I just did this to show you this, you can just go ahead and step until they're nicely even. Okay, you have the sense of balance where your torso right here and your hips are right between the feet. So there's a good balance there. And then take the arms out to the side. I call this a star shape. So from this position, we're just going to inhale, reach out with the hands, feel tall. Exhale, pull belly in, put a little bend in the knees, and then fold. Okay, take your time, and then just going to bring your hands down to the floor, or maybe a stack of blocks. If you have some blocks nearby, you can bring those blocks in. Once you've made it down, inhale, re-extend your spine, bringing the crown of your head forward, and exhale, fold again. We're going to hold this for a little bit so we can get a little bit more into the legs. You can also adjust this. Now, when I got into triangle, I brought the feet in a little closer, but now that I'm in this wide-legged forward fold, it actually feels okay to take the feet a little wider. Hands can just press into the ground, or fingertips, or stacked blocks. Let's take a few more breaths here. Just getting into the sensations
in the legs. And what's nice about this posture, and what I like about this posture, is that it affects the outer legs and the inner legs at the same time. Bring some energy and strength. 3 more breaths as you're able. After that third breath, no rush, just lift a little bit. We're not rising all the way back up. But then walk your hands over towards your right foot and then turn that right foot so it's facing forward on your mat. And just bend that right knee. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. So we're kind of in this runner's lunge. You're going to bring that left knee to the ground. Bring both hands up to your thigh right here. And we're just going to get into a little bit of a lunge here for the left hip flexor. Now, this doesn't have to be too deep. What you may want to do is maybe scoot your right foot forward a little bit. If you drew a straight line down from your knee, it'll be behind the ankle or heel. So just a little bit of a movement of the right foot forward and just lunge a little bit. And then when you lunge, you'll realign the knee over the ankle. We're not going to hold here too long, just so that we can get a little bit of a back bend feel if you're sitting up tall like this, and a nice hip flexor stretch. One more breath in and out. And then lower yourself, bring both hands to the inside of this right foot. Lean a little bit more to your left side, because you're just going to slide that right foot back until you're on your hands and knees again, like this. And just do another set of cat and cow. Just inhale, lift head and heart, little arch of the back, round it out. And maybe just 2 more of those. So that's basically our standing sequence. That was on the right side. And we'll get set up and do the left side. So same setup for down dog. Step your hands forward, spreading out your fingers. Wrists out from underneath the shoulders. Press into the ground to flatten the palms, strong arms. Tuck your toes. Inhale, look up, arching the back into cow. Exhale into cat. Hold cat pose. Belly button pulling up towards spine, lifting your knees, lifting your hips, downward facing dog. We're going to move right away. So inhale, now extend your left leg up into the air. Again, not worrying how high it goes. It's more about the energetic extension you're creating. Exhale, bend this left knee, bring it in underneath you towards your chest or chin, shifting your body weight forward so your shoulders are over your wrists. Set your left foot down. Set the right knee down. So you can pick up your left foot and place it up a little higher up onto the mat. Ready for your lunge. Let's re-lift that right knee. Your body weight might be forward, so that means we want to pull the hips back towards that right heel. Enough where it feels a lightness comes to the hands, so you can easily rise up to fingertips. Hold there for a moment. Just notice this energy in the body. Walk both hands up to your thigh. Press into the thigh to lift your torso up to 45 degrees to feel that extended upper body. Keeping that nice anchored effect by pushing right heel towards the ground behind you. Squeeze to inner thighs. That will help with stability and balance. Pull belly button in. Sweep your arms out to the side. Rise up. Reach up. Holding here for a couple of breaths. High lunge. So we have this arm work, upper body work as you're reaching into the air. Lunging in this balancing lunge position. Right heel pressing back. Squeezing inner thighs towards each other, belly button pulling in for stability. Coming out now, we're lifting up, pivot right heel to the floor, turn sideways, bring the arms down to parallel. Hold. If you need to rest your arms, please feel free because your arms are working hard here. You're going to bend this left arm at 90 degrees. Reach out to set that arm on a shelf, angled upper body. Bring this left arm to the shelf of your leg right there. But feel the energy of the body lifting as you take the right hand up into the air. We don't need or want a whole lot of weight here. If you can see my left arm, it's light. I call this paint the bench. So it's very light there. So the energy is up. Here, turn your gaze upward. Keep it neutral and look down. So a gentle turn of the head.
Maybe do that one more time, looking up, neutral, and down. We're going to come back up to our warrior two, re-extending the arms, preparing for triangle. We're straightening the left leg. I have a wide stance. I like to have a little bit less distance between the feet. And then re-extend your arms. Straight lines in the body. Reach out, find that shelf out in front, angled upper body, rotate the arms. Left hand comes down to knee or thigh. That same energy of the right hand reaching into the sky. Same work for the neck. We're looking up, neutral, and down. Up, neutral, and down. Let's continue looking down as we bend the left knee. Lunging, coming up to a warrior two, and then we're going to reverse the warrior by taking left hand up into the air. Reach, like you're going to touch the sky. Make sure this left knee stays lunging, it stays bent, so you get a nice left side body stretch. We're going to come back up to warrior two here. Straighten the left leg. Turn the left foot so it matches the right foot. And be sure everything is nicely aligned. We're going to do that same forward fold. Arms out so you're in a star shape. Inhale, reach out, feel tall in the spine. Exhale, pull belly in, bend your knees. This will protect your back as you now fold. Hands can come down so you can catch the ground or a stack of blocks. Inhale, extending the spine, send your crown forward. Exhale, fold. Now we've already been here. So you can do exactly the same thing. Maybe take the feet a little wider, keep a little softness in the knees. Be sure your legs aren't locked. Okay, just keep a little softness in the knees. Now you can just hold here as you may have done before on the first time, but you also may want to add some other movements. Maybe you want to turn one foot out to the side and maybe lunge in one direction and then the other direction. I'm just showing you some variations you can try here. Little lunges just to get into the legs a little bit more, your hips, your knees. You can even do a little bit of a twist and keeping one hand on the ground as one arm goes out to the side to get a rotation through the torso. Or again, just holding where you are, down in that forward fold. Use the ground, use some blocks. All right, take 2 more breaths wherever you are. Returning down to your forward fold when you're ready, when you feel complete. And then you'll walk your hands over toward your left foot. Turn the left foot so the toes are facing forward. Rise up onto your tiptoes behind you. And there's our lunge. Set the right knee onto the ground. And then bring both hands up to your thigh. You might want to move this left foot forward a tiny bit as we get into our next lunge. Nice and tall as you inhale, and exhale, hinge forward. And then you can see that shift. Knee now stacked nicely over the ankle. Hopefully no pressure in that front knee area. Hip flexor stretch. If you're nice and tall like this, you're going to get a back bend effect. But if the back is sensitive, feel free just to lean forward a little bit. Take one more breath in and out. We're not going to be here too long. And then bring both hands to the floor on the inside of the left foot. Lean to your right a little bit so you can actually bring that left foot back behind you, back onto hands and knees. And then you can do another cat-cow flow. Very nice. So that's all of our standing work. Let's start thinking about grounding. Let's do our first grounding posture. Let's just take child's pose. Maybe just take the knees a little wider, sit back so your hips are moving down and back towards your heels. Arms can extend out front. You might even want to bring in a couple props if you want, just an option. I'm just bringing in a couple blocks just so I can rest my chest on the blocks. Or you might bring one underneath your forehead. And just a few breaths here. Your forehead might even be touching the ground if you'd like for this pose.
And this can be a really good introduction to grounding and what the earth might mean for you. It might mean stability, growth, foundation, steadiness. Three more breaths. Move in slow motion, coming out of the pose, maybe just rising back up to hands and knees. Then we're just going to take a seat. To sit on your mat. You can even bring in a blanket or something soft to sit on. And when you take your seat, go ahead and extend the legs out in front of you, but a little wide. You don't have to be too wide, just apart like that. And just sit up nice and tall. And to help you sit up tall, you might even take the hands behind you or by your side even, and just press into the ground so you feel very tall here. We're just going to take another forward fold. We had a standing version of a wide-legged forward fold. Now we're just going to do a seated wide-legged forward fold. And you have an option here, maybe bringing in a pillow, maybe here, maybe so you can just kind of rest your torso, on a pillow or a big cushion, something like this, if you can't go all the way down, and I don't expect you to go all the way down. So again, so your hands are behind you or by your side. Inhale, get nice and tall, really lengthen the spine. Exhale, pull belly in and just send your heart and chin forward. Just a slight hinge, just a little bit, just a slight hinge of the upper body forward. Your hands can stay behind you for stability. It'll also help you maintain a lengthened spine. As you go a little lower, if you desire to go a little lower, you can keep the hands behind you or even bring one hand in front just to help support your body so you stay in place while the other stays behind you. If this feels fine, stay here. Or bring both hands in front or even out to your legs or feet. Okay, many options here. We're just going to our fold. We're going to hold that fold for a little bit here. So that's why you might want to have a big pillow or cushion, or just use your hands, or if you just want to round your back, that's fine too. Now the legs are relatively straight here, but if you need to put a bend in your knees, place a bend in your knees. Perfectly fine here. If you have high flexibility, yes, you might be able to bring your torso all the way down where your forehead touches the ground, but certainly not necessary for this class. But just some forward fold sensation, and just use your hands on the ground to help support you or using some props. But another sense of grounding, feeling connected. And what that means for you as you find stillness in your body, seated on the ground. Maybe what you're needing from the ground. Another word that might come to mind is resourcefulness. The earth can be quite resourceful and is resourceful. Something we can truly rely on, especially if we take care of it. It could be a mutual exchange. If we take care of the earth, if we take care of the ground, the earth, the ground takes care of us. There's a very nurturing quality that comes with earth. That's why we call her mother. That feminine yin quality. Three more breaths here. When you're ready to move, really take your time. Use your hands on the ground. Feel the ground as you maybe press into the ground and start to lift yourself back up until you're nice and tall in your seat.
The legs may still be extended and they got a good stretch in that forward fold. So you might bring your hands behind you, just lean back a little bit. Let's bend our knees. Let's bring the soles of the feet together again in our cobbler's pose or bound angle pose. Let's keep the hands behind us actually. Roll the shoulders back, tip the chin up, open up through the chest. As you press into the floor with the hands, and it's not too forceful, but as you press, it actually helps the torso and heart lift up, which may bring release to the hips. And so your knees that are pointing out to the side might actually drop down a little lower, just creating a little bit more spaciousness in the hips. All right, from here, we're going to add a twist. So let's do this. So the knees, or the legs are going to change up a little bit. So the right leg, okay, so separate the feet. We're going to send the right foot over towards the left side, okay, and kind of bring it back behind you. So your right knee is pointing directly forward. And then as you're able, step this left foot over the right. I'm trying to mirror you, okay? So stepping over that knee. You might be leaning over to the right a little bit. So if you can, just lift and then resit until you're sitting up nice and tall. It's okay if that left cheek doesn't touch the ground. That's okay. Hold on to your shin, this front shin with both hands, and use that as a way to steady yourself and sit up nice and tall. Now take your left hand behind you. Maybe lean back a little bit into that hand, but still pressing into the floor to maintain a lift in the torso. Extend the right arm up into the air. Inhale. Exhale, a mild twist to the left. Bend this right elbow and bring it to the outside of the knee. Or even, for me, it's just resting right on top. But that's just enough to continue a slight rotation to the left side of the room. I'm going to soften mine up a little bit because it felt like I was really trying to force that rotation. I don't really need to, and nor do you. So even just by turning the torso at an angle, you are in a rotation and it doesn't have to go too far. And there's now some other sensations arising in the body. Maybe your hips, your legs, this rotation in the spine, your belly. Let's breathe in. We're going to exhale and just start to unwind slowly, facing forward. Hands behind you to lean back. Let's extend the legs straight out in front like this. Sitting up tall, hands by your side to lift yourself up, shoulders roll back. This is just staff pose, just to help come out of that bound up twisting position. Relax. And we'll do the other side. So we're going to bend the left knee, bring that left foot over towards the right side of your mat. So your left knee is pointing directly forward as you're able. Right foot as you're able, stepping it over that knee. If you can't step over, just keep it on the inside right there. But if you're able, step over and then resit. That just means lift yourself up so you can just kind of resit to get plugged into the ground. And again, it's okay if that right cheek doesn't touch the ground. Hold on to the shin, get nice and tall here. Now, maybe you want to sit just like this. Maybe you don't need the twist or don't want the twist, but maybe you're feeling some hip release here. If you want to go to that rotation, we'll take the right hand behind us, press into the ground to maintain lengthened spine. We'll inhale, extend the left arm up into the air, start to twist a little to the right side, bend elbow, bring it down maybe to the outside of that bent knee or right on top. Mine's right on top. That just gives me just enough pressure in order to hold my body in the rotation. And again, mine is a very mild rotation. It probably looks like I'm twisting far, but I'm really not. Just enough where I can feel this as a rotation in the spine. There's some sensation in the hips, my legs. Feeling this sensation of kind of being what I would call a bound posture, twisting, and there's some binding happening. One more breath in and out. And after that exhale, we get to experience that release from the bind. So you'll maybe unwind from that twist. Maybe lean back into your hands so you can re-extend the legs out front. They can be straight out front. Even feel free to take them out at an angle if you want. Whatever feels right. Sit up nice and tall, either in staff pose right here or with that wide angled leg position, just for a couple breaths. So that's our sitting work. Let's continue this connection to the ground. We're going to lie down now. So maybe set yourself up so you can lie down comfortably using any props that you like. Maybe you like to have a blanket underneath you to lie on. Maybe you have 2 yoga mats. That's another nice thing to do as well. Double up on your yoga mats just to create a little bit more cushioning underneath you. Go ahead and lie down. Maybe have a couple of blocks nearby because our next pose is bridge pose that we do supported. So you'll lie down, knees bent, feet flat on the ground. You can hold here for a few moments. Another really wonderful connection or reconnection to the ground. Your back gets to relax, your hips get to relax. Whenever you're ready, you'll just simply lift your hips into the air, just enough so you can maybe slide your stacked blocks underneath you if you're using them to sit on. And you can kind of return to this relaxed posture. So it's just a relaxed, opened back bend, bridge pose. We'll just take a few more breaths here. We did a lot of forward folds. So this starts to reopen the front body a little bit. Take 3 more breaths in this heart-opening posture and make them very dynamic breaths or just deep breaths where you feel the breath rising to fill up your lungs, really expand through the chest in this open heart posture. And after completing these deep breaths, just press feet into the ground, lift your hips so you can remove your blocks out from underneath you, and just return safely back down to the ground. That reconnection to this nurturing earth. Let everything just melt into the ground. Feel your back, your hips. And then give yourself a hug. Draw both knees into chest. You can just hold your body here. If it feels good to add motion, please do so. I like to do little small circles here or kind of rock left and right, forward and back, whatever you want to do here. Movement and or stillness. Just keeping this nice awareness of the body. And even thinking back to when we began our practice together, we talked about maintaining the sense of calm throughout the practice. And so then check in with yourself now. Have you been able to maintain that sense of calm? From here, you're welcome to move into a twist. We'll start by taking the knees over to the left side as you extend your right arm to the right side. Use props here if you need to, if you need any extra stability. You're welcome to stay here on this side as long as you'd like. When you are ready to move, and again, there's certainly no rush to move, just bring the knees back up to center. You can take your knees down to the other side. Whenever you feel complete with your twisting part, you can return to center at any time, hugging the knees in towards your body, and just take a moment and think about what you would like to do next, whether it's more movement, if you need more movement in the body, or maybe you're ready for your Shavasana practice. We're coming to stillness in the body. So you might lie in Shavasana, a more traditional way of just lying on your back, arms down by your side with palms up. Or you might find a restorative position, meaning you might use some props to support your body. Maybe you like to elevate your legs or bend your knees, or even have your head lifted, maybe up on a pillow. Wherever you are, just take a breath or two and just melt into the ground, this reconnection to the earth, feeling grounded. Feel free to stay exactly where you are. As you're still lying in stillness, return to the awareness of your breath. Notice your breath. And then take 5 slow, deep breaths. After your 5th breath, moving very slowly. As movement returns, start to roll onto either side of your body. If you'd still like to lie in Shavasana, please do so. Again, no rush to move. Whenever you're ready, just slowly roll to one side, taking a moment in that nurturing pose. And then still moving in slow motion, guide your way up to a seated posture. As you find your seat, still feeling well connected to the ground, feeling grounded. Your arms might just be relaxed down by your side with your hands in your lap, or you might even bring hands to heart center. Take one more breath in and out. As we come to the close of this portion of our journey together, we bow saying, Namaste.